Last fall on my channel, we had this item right here, the Vector 15 amp battery charger for your vehicle. Also has the engine start feature. Well, I like this so much that I have another product by them I want to bring to the channel today to show you guys and see what you think. And today by Vector, we have this all-in-one unit right here. It's a 1200 amp jump starter, 500 watt power inverter, 120 PSI air compressor, 2.1 amp USB power, 12 volt DC power, and a LED work light, which is very nice to have, especially in the winter time when the batteries don't start too well or the tires start to go flat. It's dark at 5 p.m. It's nice to have this light right here. So first of all, we're just going to take a look at this. I'm going to show you all the features on it, and then we are definitely going to put this to the test, the jump starter and the compressor, and then the power as well too. So first of all, right up top here, there's a little storage area. This is where your compressor hose stores. And then it includes this ball needle right here, so you can inflate your basketballs, volleyballs, footballs, what have you. So right back here is a nice storage feature for the clamps. They just wrap around there real nice, and then they have this little clamp part that they bite down on. It just keeps it nice and tidy. So right here's the button on top. You push that, and then the LED light comes on. So it definitely illuminates the whole area right there. Works really well. So if you're inflating your tire and you set that down, you can easily see what you're doing, or if you're jump starting, that will help to shine light on where to clamp the positive and the negative. So as you can see, I had this laying flat right there on the surface. So when you move it around, you carry it, you kind of want to set it down just like that, but it's not meant to sit on that. And I think the reason that Vector did this is if all of a sudden you bumped it and it tipped over, you probably could easily break something. So they made it so you can really only set it down like that. So I wouldn't mind being able to store it like this, but I can see why they did it like this. And you want to have this as compact as possible, so you don't want them to put a roll cage on it either. All right, so moving around to this side right here. So when you take this out of the box, the first thing you need to do is charge it. So when you flip that up right there, you can just put any kind of extension cord, drop cord on there, and they recommend charging it for 24 to 48 hours for the initial charge. And then every month they recommend topping it off by plugging it in, probably overnight. So this does require a little bit of maintenance like that, just making sure if you're going to use it as a jump starter that you keep topping the battery off every so often like that. And then right here, those flip down, and then you have two plugs for your AC power. So if you want to use your AC power, you just push that button right there. And right now you can see I have 4 bars, so you might be able to hear this running. So initially that will run a little bit, like a fan running, but then it will shut down and it'll still give you power. If you push that right there, you'll see the battery status. So right there, as you can see the LED light. That cabinet and that piece of plywood, that's about 3 feet away. So definitely nice and bright. And then right here we have a USB port. So I also call it like the cigarette adapter. So let's say you want to charge your phone or something like that. Maybe you have an adapter. You can do that. And then right there is a USB-A port right there too. So nice thing with this, it just gives you some options depending on the cables and what you might have in your vehicle. Let's say you're gonna go out like on a picnic or the beach or something. You can bring this along and have plenty of power to charge your devices. So as you can see back here, I safely have the jumper cable stored away. And this button right here made me think that it was the on-off button for like your AC power and things like that. But when you turn that on, that's actually for your jumper cable. So you definitely don't want to ever turn that on until those clamps are on your vehicle and you're ready to start. So I might end up just taking my own paint pen and writing something like in bright yellow, like jump start only. That's probably something that I'd like to see like on some other models. But for now, as long as you know that, you're good to go. The last thing to really point out is the air compressor. So if you turn that on, you can see the plus and minus. So let's say you want to put your vehicle to 35 PSI, that's where you want to fill it to. Then you open this up. And then this screws onto the Schrader valve of your vehicle. And then you push the air button one more time, and this will automatically fill it until it reaches 35 PSI. So just if you want to hear it run real quick, you push air. Anyways, So that just gives you an idea of how that works. So what's great is it's exact to the amount of PSI that you need in your tires. All right, so how about we get our testing underway, and we'll start out by using the jump start feature. The jump start claims that it can start a V8 engine. This is a 5.7 liter, and what we're gonna do is drain the battery completely. I was just driving this around town a couple hours ago, so the battery should be topped off. We're gonna use this multimeter right here to see where the battery is right now. All right, so we're gonna put that to the negative, this one to the positive. All right, 11.5 is where it's peaking out at. Okay, so you can see we're gonna run the headlights right here until the battery dies and the starter won't turn over. All right, it's been a little bit of time now since the battery's been draining with the headlights on and the heater. So now we have really dim lights. We're gonna hook this back up again and just see what type of readout we have on the battery. It's peaking out at 3. I don't think that's gonna start the vehicle. Let's try it out. I think we're gonna get some clicking. All right, ready? Oh yeah, it's nothing. Nothing. Yep, my dome lights aren't even coming on. All right, so I'm gonna walk you through all the steps now to jump start your vehicle. Okay, so before we hook the jump starter up to this, the very first thing we're gonna do is make sure everything's turned off. Right now I still have the running lights on. So then you make sure on here that everything's turned off. The power right there to the jumper cables, make sure that's off and everything else. And then I'm unwinding these cables. I'm gonna rest this right up here. All right, so it might not be easy to see behind the battery right here. We're gonna first start out by hooking up the positive. This clamp right on there. There, that locks on really nice. And then the next thing we're gonna do is hook up this negative clamp right here. So instead of hooking up to the battery, which may have been the old way of doing things, you hook this up somewhere to the engine chassis, something that's metal, maybe even the engine itself. So one thing you can do if you're not sure, you can grab a magnet like I have right here. And I'm looking at the alternator right here and the housing. So if I put that on there, that's not really sticking. So I guess that's probably some type of aluminum or something else. So make sure this definitely sticks to something. Sometimes this can be a little tricky trying to find something to clamp onto that's metal. All right, so I'm looking right here. Here's a bolt that's right above the radiator hose. I think I could probably go to that. That might go into something metal. Let's try that first. All right, so check this out. When I clip the negative onto that steel bolt right there, it says 13 volts and it shows 4 bars. So this looks like it's ready to go. I still have it in the off position. All right, so now we're going to switch this to on. All right, there is a steel bar going across. Let's try that. All right, so now I move the negative clamp onto part of the engine and part of a bolt. It's a little bit rusty, and I don't see that warning light there. I think that was the problem. And then the looks like a transmission. That's the start light. I think we're ready to go. It worked. It worked. Yes, it did work. All right, we're going to shut it off right there. We're going to watch out for any belts or anything like that. Disconnect the negative. Disconnect the positive. All right. All right, so I definitely recommend that you read the instructions if you're going to use that jump starter. There's a lot of important warning things that I didn't mention that you should know about. All right, so now what I'm going to do is pull the vehicle around, and I do have a battery charger that's going to top this off because I want it to be able to start in the morning. All right, so now we're charging the battery. Charger's all hooked up. Now we're going to let that do the work. We're going to use this to see if we can charge 3 devices, a MacBook Air, an iPhone, and an iPad. 56%, 15%, 85%. Let's plug the laptop in, give it 15 minutes. All right, so it's been 15 minutes. Phone's at 63%. The laptop, the battery is getting kind of weak, so it's 37, so it drains fast and charges fast. So that went from 15 to 37. And then this went to 90, from 85 to 90, so that jumped 5%, the iPad. All right, so we're gonna test the compressor out. You might be wondering how fast it works. So on this trailer tire right here, it's at 20 PSI. We're gonna see how long it takes to bring it all the way up to 50 PSI. So I think that this unit right here would work really well for someone that's doing lawn care or a landscaper. You'd always have the resources available to maintain your equipment. All right, now let's see what the time is. All right, we're at 11 minutes, 25 seconds. So this can come in really handy around the home. I also like to bring something like this along when I go on vacation. So we've done a lot of camping over the years, and the one vehicle that we have, or we did have when we went camping, we had a pickup where we'd haul a boat or a camper, and other times we did some tent camping. And the one van that we had, when we would open the door, after about 10 minutes, it would drain the battery for some reason. I'm not sure why it drained it so fast, but it really didn't matter like what type of battery we had in the car. It wasn't an old battery. It just, the lights and everything just seemed to drain it, and it was nice having a jump starter. And we've also done some camping with the fifth wheel trailer that we had at the time. So between your truck and the camper, that's 8 tires that could potentially go flat. And it's just nice having this right here. It's just kind of a nice insurance policy to have along. And then when it comes to jump starting a vehicle, I definitely like having something like this versus hooking my vehicle up to it. I can recall in the years past, I helped somebody out, and then it ended up doing damage to my alternator, which was probably on its way out already, but it just made the problem that much worse. So like the next day, I ended up having to go out and buy a new alternator. So now I'd like to know what questions you have on this. If there's something I left out, please put them down below. I'll be happy to answer. And if you want to find out more about this or the current price, I'll have a link below to the Home Depot where you can see the current ratings on it and see some other questions and answers as well. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and help support my channel. That's it, friends. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.